श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषयगुरो गणां निधे सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नमो धर्माय महते नमः कृष्णाय वेदसे ब्राह्मणेभ्यो नमस्कृत्य धर्मान् भक्ष्यामि शाश्वतान्। नमो भगवते तस्मै व्यासाय मितदेशदेस्य प्रसादात् वक्ष्यामि नारायणकथामिमाम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्. So we're looking at after Jayadratha was killed by Karna using that arrow given to him, weapon given to him by Indra himself, which Karna was keeping it for Arjuna, but because Jayadratha was giving so much trouble, all the Kaurava troops urged Karna to attack Gadodgaja with that, and with that Gadodgaja was killed. So seeing him like that, Krishna starts happily jumping around, and Arjuna asks why, and Krishna says, all this I did for you, including killing of Jarasandha, Shishupala, Ekalavya, and many others, including those Hidimba, Baka, and now Gadodgaja. All these were killed. That's for you and for Pandavas only. I did all that. And Arjuna asked, how are you saying that you did all that? So Arjuna asked that question again. There is two parts to this question. Why when Arjuna asked, tell me how you did this? Because some of them we know that Bhima did it, right? For example, Jarasandha, Bhima killed it. Even though Krishna Arjuna went with Bhima, we saw in Adi Parva, right? So we saw that Jarasandha was killed by Bhima. And similarly, we saw Hidimba, Baka, Kirmira, all of them were killed by Bhima. And now Gadodgaja is killed by Karna. So how obviously Shishupala was killed by Krishna and Ekalavya was killed by Krishna. But Arjuna asked, how did you, by what means you killed all those people? So he's asking in two ways. One is to understand Bhagavan's Leela, how he engages, and the second is also just curiosity, saying that, okay, if I know that Bhima killed many of these names you mentioned, but how did that happen? So Krishna responds saying that if Jarasandha and Shishupala or even Ekalavya, if they have not been killed, they would have become very terrible. And without doubt, Duryodhana would have chosen those great warriors to his side. Then it would have been almost impossible to destroy this army. And they would have allowed all of them also, they would have gone to the Kaurava side, knowing at the other side they are looking at their conduct and things like that, they would have gone towards Duryodhana himself. Then if they are all united together, then it would have been impossible for defeating them, and it would have been it would have never possible to kill them. So that's why I've used various means to kill them. Now listen to some of them, and Krishna explains that once on one occasion when Balarama was there, when Balarama defeated Jarasandha, and he very angrily, when the war took place between Yadavas and Jarasandha. So again, Jarasandha used to attack Mathura because after Kamsa's death, he used to attack Mathura regularly. Okay, so at that time, finally, Krishna says that this battle we can't win, so let's vacate Mathura and we go to Dwaraka. So that's why they built Dwaraka there. So, but when this war was happening between Jarasandha, so every time he used to come and he had just such a huge army, he used to come. So this is what we see in Sri Bhagavata Purana. Okay, so Jarasandha used to come, and every time he comes, Krishna and Balarama, they used to defeat that army, and then Jarasandha used to go back and then come back once again with another set of large amount of army. So once like this, Balarama angrily he hurled a mace towards Jarasandha, and uh, seeing that mace coming towards him like that, and Jarasandha hurled a mace towards Balarama, and seeing that coming towards him, Balarama angrily hurled a weapon called Stunakarna, and those two weapons started striking each other in the sky, and then they fell on the earth, making a huge sound like a mountain breaking up like that. They made a huge sound and they fell on the earth. And there was a terrible Rakshasa named Jara, and that Jara is the one who actually united Jarasandha. So if you again remember Jarasandha's body, he was born as two halves of a child. Right? So and that the Jara united those two halves, and then that's why he became known as Jarasandha. This Rakshasa woman Jara, who was living there in that earth where that weapon fell from Balarama and Jarasandha, that those two weapons, Jarasandha's mace, which had huge strength, and then Balarama's Tulkarna, the weapon, those two coming down to the earth, that killed that Jara, Rakshasa. So Rakshasa, it killed that Rakshasi, and then together with that, so the Jara was killed, the Rakshasi was killed, and similarly later Krishna says that when that mace was removed from Jarasandha, because with that mace he could have defeated anybody. So now that mace is gone, Bhima was able to defeat him, kill him in the battle, in the one-on-one battle when he was held. Which we saw before the Rajasuya sacrifice Pandavas performed, he was able to kill. And Krishna says that similarly, that Ekalavya, Nishada's son, he was also of great power, and he was incapable of being baffled by anybody. By trickery, he was deprived of his thumb by Drona, and was assuming the position of his guru. And then again, but that Ekalavya, very proud of his prowess, and he was endued with steady strength. He, with the fingers cased in leathern glove, he again learned his own the weapons, releasing the arrows without thumb. He was like Parashurama himself when he was on the battlefield. Even though he was deprived of that thumb, he was incapable of being defeated by the Devatas, Danavas, Rakshasas, Uragas, and everybody. So such a Ekalavya was killed by me in the battle previously. So Krishna again, Ekalavya comes on attack along with Jarasandha to attacking Yadavas. At that time he was killed by Krishna. Then again, Krishna says the Shishupala as well, he was killed by me in front of your own eyes. He was incapable of being defeated by anybody. Such a Shishupala was killed, and I was born to kill him and also other enemies of the Devatas, and with your assistance from the desire of benefiting this world. So that's why I was born to kill all the enemies of Devatas. Similarly, Hidimba, Baka, Kirmira, all of them have been killed by Bhima, and all those Rakshasas of great strength equal to Ravana himself, all of them were destroyed. All of them were destroyers of the Brahmanas and the sacrifices. All of them have been destroyed. Similarly, Alayuda has been killed by Ghatotkacha. So, and now Ghatotkacha, so if Karna had not killed this with this arrow in this great battle, that Ghatotkacha, I would have killed Ghatotkacha myself. So Krishna says that if Karna did not kill, then I would have killed him. From desire of benefiting you, I did not kill him before. This Rakshasa was hostile to Brahmanas and sacrifices. So again, because he was born of a, even though he's Bhima's son, Gajodgaja, because he is from a Rakshasa guna in him, he was still hostile to Brahmanas and the sacrifices and things like that. He had that Rakshasa guna, and that's why Krishna says, if not Karna, I would have killed him. So, but because again because he was the destroyer of the sacrifice and a sinful person, so that's why he was killed. So, and also by that uh, act, by that thing Karna did, the arrow given by Indra also now became useless, and that saves you. And then Krishna says one important thing. He says that ये हि धर्मस्य लोपारो वध्यास्ते मम पांडव धर्म संस्थापनार्थम हि प्रतिज्ञैष ममाव्यय ब्रह्म सत्यम धम शौचम धर्मो ह्रीः श्रीः धृति क्षमा यत्र तत्र रमते नित्यम अहम सत्येन ते शपे. So he says that, O Pandava, O Pandu's son, they that are destroyers of the dharma are all killable, all slayable by me. So he says that yehi dharmasya loptaro vadhyaste mama pandava. So those who are dharma virodhis, those who are destroyers of the dharma, they are all killable by me. They are all slayable by me. And even that is the vow made by me for establishing the dharma. So I have made such a vow that I will kill all those destroyers of the dharma. So where there are Vedas and truth, self-restraint, purity, dharma, modesty, prosperity, wisdom, forgiveness, all of them are always to be met with. I will always remain in that place. So he says that again. Krishna says, Brahma, Satyam, Dhamma, Shaucham, Dharma, Rihi, Shrihi, Dhriti, Kshama. So Yatra Tatra Rame Nityam, Aham Satyena Te Shape. So I will remain in those places always where there is Vedas, where there is truth, self-restraint, purity, righteous, Dharma, modesty, prosperity, wisdom, forgiveness. So all these things where that remains, in that place I will remain. But on the other hand, those who are destroyers of the dharma, they will be killed by me. That's the vow I made previously. And he also tells Arjuna that you should not be anxious about Karna's slaughter, Karna's death. I will tell you the means to kill him, so that by which you will be able to kill him. And similarly, Bhima will also succeed in killing Duryodhana. I will also tell the means by which that can be achieved. Similarly, but meanwhile, listen to the uproar made by our army here. Your troops are flying away because Ghatotkacha has been killed, and Kauravas are very much energized by death of that Ghatotkacha. Drona and all the warriors, they are now attacking, and the troops are flying away. Panchala troops are flying away. So go and protect. So Krishna says like that to Arjuna. So he explains why he laughed and he was happy at Ghatotkacha's death. So again, the reason is there is two parts. One is the Indra's arrow, which Karna had, is now no longer with Karna. And the second part is Ghatotkacha himself is of Rakshasa guna, and he was Brahmana's enemy. He was enemy of the sacrifices and Vedas and things like that. That's why he had to be killed. So two things achieved by one plan. So that's why Krishna was very happy. So now Dhritarashtra, listening to this, he asked, saying that when Karna had such an arrow, which was sure to kill only one person, why he did not hurl it at Arjuna? Why he kept it for so long and still did not hurl it release that arrow towards Arjuna? Why he did not do that? Again, Arjuna's death was only through that arrow, and there was no other ways. All the Srinjayas, Pandavas, and everybody would have been killed or defeated if Arjuna had been killed. So Arjuna's death, why it did not happen through Karna using that arrow? Arjuna made the vow that whenever someone challenges him in the battlefield, he will go and attack. irrespective of what Krishna says, he will go and attack them. So if Karna should have challenged him when the first day on the 11th day when he entered the battlefield, he should have challenged him for the battle, one-on-one battle. Then he could have hurled him and killed that Arjuna. Why he did not do? Tell me, Sanjaya, why Karna did not engage in Arjuna in the single combat in that battlefield, when and why he did not kill him? Without doubt, Duryodhana is destitute. He does not have any intelligence and he does not have any good counselors. So this is always his problem, and otherwise, how our enemy is happily now smiling there, why even with the death of Ghatotkacha, but on the other hand, we are now Karna, which had an arrow for Arjuna, has no longer exist with him. So Arjuna is now become, there is no problem for Arjuna. And again, it is like a fight between a boar and a dog. If either of them die, it's still the profit for the hunter. So just like that, here Krishna using Ghatotkacha and Karna and that arrow of Karna, so he's using those two. If Ghatotkacha killed Karna, then also it would have been great joy for Pandavas. On the other hand, if Karna killed Ghatotkacha using that arrow which Indra gave him, then also it's benefit for the Pandavas. So Krishna used his logic. So reflecting like that, Krishna did what is good for the Pandavas, and he made sure that Ghatotkacha was killed by Karna in that battlefield. Why Karna before that did not challenge Arjuna for a single combat? So like this, Dhritarashtra asked this question, and Sanjay says that knowing that Karna had desired to kill Arjuna, and Krishna always sent. That's why Krishna kept Arjuna away from Karna, and also he sent Ghatotkacha because of that. He sent Ghatotkacha for that single combat with Karna, and that's why this happened. And this all happened because of your evil policy. So he says once again, he says that to Dhritarashtra. And then Sanjay continues, he says that we certainly would have achieved success if Krishna had not rescued Arjuna from Karna's hands. And Arjuna would have been destroyed with his horses, with his chariot, with his standard, and everything. He would have been destroyed in that battle with Dhritarashtra if that master of all the yogis, that Janardana, that Paramatma Krishna, Narayana himself had not saved Arjuna, then it would have happened. Protected by various kinds of means and well aided by Krishna, Arjuna approaching his enemies is defeated. That arrow of he overcome that arrow of Indra which Karna had. So Dhritarashtra then asked, my son is very fond of quarrel, and but his advisors are foolish. He does not have any wisdom. It is for that this Arjuna's death now is not going to happen. Why did not Duryodhana or any of those, why did not Duryodhana or Karna, having those great intelligence, did not release that arrow at Arjuna? Why? You also forgot. Sanjay, you were there in the battle. Forget about the others, Shakuni or anybody else. You were also there. You knew that if Karna can release, why you did not remind Karna? So why you did not say this to Karna that he should focus on Arjuna using that arrow? Why you did not say that? And Sanjay says that every night in sense from 10th night onwards, right? So when Karna started coming to the battlefield, so 10th day onwards, so 11th, 12th, so 10th night, 11th, 12th, like that. So 13th. So this is the 14th night. So every night for the last 4 days, it was the subject of deliberation with Duryodhana, Shakuni, Sanjay says, myself, and Dushyasana. So these four, Duryodhana, Shakuni, Sanjaya, and Dushyasana, they used to debate and discuss. And they told Karna that excluding all the warriors, O Karna, you go and kill Arjuna. We would then be lord of all the things, and Pandavas and Panchalas will become our slaves. If Arjuna falls, then Krishna, on the other hand, if once Arjuna is killed by this arrow, if Krishna is going to appoint another Pandavas and Panda among them another person to carry on the fighting, then let's kill Krishna himself. So if we think that Krishna is going to do that when Arjuna is killed, then if Krishna is going to say, Bhima, you lead the fight now, if he says that and he starts helping Bhima, if we think like that, then instead of Arjuna, let's kill Krishna himself, because Krishna is the root of the Pandavas. That and Arjuna is like the tree trunk that came out of that root, and other Pandavas, they are like the branches of that, and the Panchalas are like the leaves of that tree. So if Pandavas have Krishna for their refuge, and Krishna uh, is for their strength, and Krishna for their leader, they have Krishna for everything, and it is for that. So Krishna is the central support of those Pandavas. So that's why let's go and kill Krishna himself. So saying like this, so like this Duryodhana, Shakuni, Sanjaya, Dushyasana, they used to tell every night to Karna, saying that either you kill Arjuna or let's kill the root itself, cut that root itself, if of that tree of Pandava supporting that tree of Pandava supported by Krishna, let's kill Krishna himself. So like this, they used to debate and they used to tell Arj Karna, saying that tomorrow morning, go and do that. So, and then every morning, Sanjay says that we rose up every morning, and then having formed such a resolution that that they, Bhagavan himself, Rishikesha himself will be killed. So we formed uh, uh, such a resolution amongst ourselves. Dushasana, Duryodhana, Shakuni, Sanjaya, Karna, all of them agreed that so today we go to battle. First thing we do is we challenge and kill Krishna. So like that they formed their resolution. They used to go to the battle. But Sanjay says that at the time of battle, however, we forget our resolution. So Krishna always protected Arjuna, and he never placed Arjuna before Karna in the battle, in front of him in the battlefield. And again, Krishna always placed other great warriors before Karna, thinking that arrow of our could become maybe become fruitless by Karna if Karna releases on any of other people. So like this, Krishna always protected Arjuna from Karna in that battlefield. Again, reflecting very well, I now see that there is no person in the three worlds who is able to defeat that Krishna Janardana in this battlefield, who has that chakra in his hand. Such a person, we now looking back, I think I know that nobody will be able to defeat that Krishna. Even though we in that battlefield every night for 4 nights we thought that okay, we will kill Krishna, and morning we went to battlefield thinking that we are going to kill Krishna, we were not able to do, and we used to forget. And Satyaki himself asked Krishna this question. He asked, saying regarding Karna, saying that, "O Krishna, even this is been Karna's firm resolution that he would release that arrow towards Arjuna. Why he did not release that? Why he did not hurl at Arjuna?" And Krishna says that Dushyasana, Karna, Shakuni, Jayadratha, along with Duryodhana, all of them frequently debated on this subject. Addressing Karna, they used to say every night that, "O Karna, go and in this battle release that arrow towards Arjuna, uh, and he is the most celebrated, most important among them, just like Indra among all the devatas. If he is killed, then Panchalas, Srinjayas, all of them will become heartless and they will run away." And Karna, agreeing to that suggestion from all of them, Jayadratha, Dushasana, Karna, Shakuni, all of them, Duryodhana, all of them, he says, okay, I will do it. And with the desire of killing Arjuna, he used to come to the battlefield. Krishna tells Satyaki that I, however, always used to stupefy him. I used to confuse that Karna, and through Maya, I used to confuse him. And it was for this reason that he did not release that arrow at Arjuna. And as long as I could not remove that arrow from the battlefield, Arjuna's death uh, was not, Arjuna's safety was not guaranteed, and that's why I neither had sleep nor joy in my heart. But now that through Gadodgaja, this arrow has been made fertile, so that's why today I know that Arjuna is rescued from the jaws of death. And Krishna says that I do not regard my father, mother, and yourself, Satyaki, or my brothers, or anybody, uh, any in this my life, worth so much worth as Arjuna. I see Arjuna. So Arjuna is my best friend, and I see him more than my father, mother, or anybody else. So if there is anything more precious than the sovereignty of the three worlds, even if I get that, I don't want that if Arjuna is not there in that world. So seeing Arjuna, therefore, returned from this uh, jaws of death through this arrow when it pierced Gadodgaja, I jumped in joy. I could not stop myself because Arjuna has been rescued from Karna. Now Karna is like he can be defeated by easily. He can be defeated and he can be killed in this battlefield. So, like this, Krishna explains to Satyaki why Karna did not explain, and the same thing Sanjaya says that this is how Karna said. This is how Krishna himself told Satyaki why Karna did not release the arrow. So, in short, Kauravas used to plan that they used to go and attack and kill either Arjuna or Krishna through that arrow. But Krishna, using his Maya, he used to make sure that they forget, and also he never took Arjuna in front of Karna for that one-to-one battle. So that's why Arjuna was rescued by Krishna. So Dhritarashtra, listening to this again, he says that I see this act of Karna, Duryodhana, Shakuni, and yourself, O Sanjaya, is very much against the dictates of the policy. You just don't know what you're doing. You should have killed Krishna or Arjuna in that battlefield first, and then thought about any other battle. So now you did not do anything. So and Sanjaya, when this battle, like, what did happen after that? So he asks again, he blames everybody, Dhritarashtra, and then he asks, Sanjay says that again, uh, why, again, Dhritarashtra asks why this happened, and Sanjay explains that returning from battle every day, all of us used to debate at night, and Karna, we used to tell Karna that this arrow should be released for either Krishna or Arjuna. But both, when the morning came, through destiny, both Karna or other warriors forgot that resolution, including myself. We used to forget that resolution. I think destiny is supreme since Karna, that arrow did not reach Arjuna, it went Gadodgaja's way. And it is again because of his understanding was afflicted by the destiny itself and stupefied by the Maya of the Devatas, that Janardana, Narayana himself, that arrow did not reach Arjuna. Instead, it reached Gadodgaja. So Dhritarashtra says that you are destroyed by destiny and by your own understanding and by Krishna himself. Uh, having made sure that Gadodgaja was killed, who was Gadodgaja, that was like a straw himself. He is not significant, he was insignificant, but you used that such a great arrow given by Indra against that insignificant Gadodgaja. Uh, this is not very great policy which you have adopted in this battlefield, like this he says. And then uh, he asked the question, how did they rush against Drona, who was in that array he was forming, and he was Panchalas? How did they fight? How did Pandavas and Sanjayas withstand Drona, who was fighting in this battlefield? And who protected Drona? And how did Arjuna and Bhima they desiring to kill Drona. How did they battle? How did the battle take place after the death of Jayadratha and Gadodgaja in that battle, at Gadodgaja's death at the night? So Sanjaya says that when Gadodgaja was killed in that night, uh, uh, the Kaurava troops became very much filled with joy. They uttered loud shouts. They started attacking Pandavas. And seeing all this, Yudhisthira became very much exceedingly, he became cheerless and he addressed Bhima saying that resist Dhritarashtra's forces that's coming and attacking now in joyful, but because of death of Gadodgaja, great stupefaction overwhelms me. I cannot think much. I'm very much struggling now. So he orders Bhima to go and resist that Kaurava troops, and saying that Yudhishthira sits down on his chariot with tearful face, sighing repeatedly. He became exceedingly cheerless, and seeing that strength of Karna, who was attacking now the Panchala troops from all directions. And seeing Yudhishthira like that, Krishna tells him that, "O Yudhishthira, this grief, it does not look good on you, and it is this cheerlessness, your cheerlessness like an ordinary person, right? And you stand up and fight this battle because there is a heavy burden here. If cheerlessness overtakes you, our victory becomes uncertain." So when Krishna says that, Yudhishthira wiping his eyes with his hands, he replies to Krishna saying that, "I don't know the greatest path of dharma." This is Dharmaraja. Yudhishthira himself saying to Krishna, he says that I don't know all the paths of dharma, but I know that the word, if one forgets the services offered by somebody, then he will get a Brahmahatya dosha. He will get the sin of consequence of Brahmana slaughter. So such a sin will come. This Gadodgaja, when we were in the forest, when we were in that 12 years of forest, when we were wandering around, he was a small child at that time. But even then, he gave served us so many times. And when Arjuna went to heaven to acquire those weapons, at that time this Gadodgaja came there to Kamyaka forest, and he was with us during that till Arjuna came back, he was with us. While proceeding in that forest, which is inaccessible, the path was very difficult to cross. At that time, he carried on his back Draupadi. Many times he carried us Draupadi in that path because she could not walk. The things he achieved in that, again, if you remember one of Parva, just before Arjuna's return, we see that they are going to Gandhamadana mountain and all the places, Gadodgaja carrying Draupadi and even Nakula Sahadeva on his shoulders in that terrain, in that mountains, carrying them in that bad mountain. So Yudhishthira remembers all the service that Gadodgaja did, and he says that my affection for Gadodgaja is twice as much as I bear towards Sahadeva himself. So that was Gadodgaja was very much devoted to me. He was dear to me, and I was very dear to him. And it is for that I'm scorched by this grief. I have become very much cheerless here. And see that our troops also afflicted by and they are attacked by Kaurava. See that Drona and Karna, they are extending this battle and they are attacking from all directions and disregarding the strength of Ghatotkacha and also a variety of weapons that Arjuna has. Kauravas putting a great strength here. So Karna, Duryodhana, Drona, all of them having killed Ghatotkacha, they are uttering loud roars. O Janardana, when we are alive here, how could Ghatotkacha be killed in the battlefield, having caused great slaughter of that Kaurava troops? Ghatotkacha has been killed in front of us. When Arjuna himself is there, when Bhima himself is there, how could Ghatotkacha be killed in this battlefield? On the other hand, if you look at Abhimanyu's death, when Abhimanyu was killed in that battlefield, uh, Arjuna was not there. Arjuna was not in the battlefield. He was taken away by the Trigartas, Samshaptakas. And we were also held check by Jayadratha. We were stopped by Jayadratha. Drona with Ashwatthama became the cause of Abhimanyu's death. Drona himself told Karna how to kill Abhimanyu. While Abhimanyu was battling with the sword, it was Drona himself that cut off that weapon, that sword. And then Kritavarma, when Abhimanyu was in such a distress, Kritavarma killed his horses and two passenger drivers of that boy. And then he was dispatched, he was killed in that battle, in that Chakravyuha, like that on that day. For very little offense, that Jayadratha was killed by Arjuna. So here again, kind of Yudhisthira disagrees with the actions Arjuna took on after what happened to Abhimanyu. He says that the Jayadratha's offense here was very little, and but he was punished by Arjuna, and that act, whatever Arjuna did, that did not give me joy. If we are here to kill the enemies, if the slaughter of enemies is just, if that is the right thing to do, then we should have killed Drona, Karna, Ashwatthama first, because they are the one who caused Abhimanyu's death, not Jayadratha. So those two are Drona and Karna, they are the root of our problems. And obtaining these two, Duryodhana became very confident. And Drona should have been killed, or Karna should have been killed with his followers first. But Arjuna went after Jayadratha. And this Jayadratha's connection in this whole Abhimanyu's death is very remote. He stopped us, but Abhimanyu's death happened because of Drona, Karna, and Ashwatthama and Kritavarma. It's because of them he killed, and especially it is because of Drona and Karna. So punishment, if anything, Arjuna should have given to Karna and Drona and not Jayadratha. So having said this, I will today give punishment to Karna. Yudhishthira says that I will punish Karna today. I will kill that Karna today. He's saying this. He goes away. He goes towards Karna, and seeing him going like that, angrily he goes away and he goes towards Karna. And at that time, Krishna tells Arjuna that king is going angrily towards Karna. It is not proper that he kills Karna. You should kill him. So that's why go and stop him. So while he was saying that, Yudhishthira is already at quite a big distance from them, and then Krishna and Arjuna, they started chasing, going back where Yudhishthira went. At that time, Vyasa comes there and he tells Yudhishthira that it is by good luck that Arjuna lives here, and it is by good luck that that arrow Karna had, which he had kept for Arjuna, has been baffled now, and it is by good luck that Gadodgaja, who is a Rakshasa and who is against Brahmanas, and such a Rakshasa has been killed by this. So, O Yudhishthira, don't grieve and don't go and angrily. So, because on the 5th day from today, the earth will be yours, and Vyasa says that Nityam cha Purusha Vyagra Dharmam eva vichintaya Anrusham Syam Tapodhanam Chamam Satyam cha Pandava Seveta Paramo Mitro Yato Dharmas Tato Jaya. He says that always think of Dharma with cheerful heart, practice kindness to all the creatures, penance, charity, and truth. So practice all those things. The victory, forgiveness also, practice that. Where the victory will be, where there is dharma. Where there is dharma, there will be victory. Yato dharmas tato jaya, he says. Vyasa tells that to Yudhishthira, and he made, after saying that, he made himself invisible from that battlefield. So listening to this, Yudhishthira stops from rushing towards Karna in that battlefield. So Vyasa convinces Yudhishthira to stop advancing towards himself, advancing and going towards and to kill Karna in that battlefield. So we'll stop there and we'll look at what happens and how Pandavas and Kauravas battle on that night, again continuing battle. What do they do? We'll look at that next time.